voice, and I'm the singer of the indie rock band Finn.
So what inspired you to become a music artist?
I don't really know, I just kind of got into music since I was about 14.
Wow.
And I just learned guitar, and I just went from there. I didn't really think about it, it was kind of like I just fell into it. And I just discovered that that was one of the only things I was very good at, so I kind of stuck with it. And that's why I'm here now.
That's good. What record label are you signed to, and can you give a brief profile of your record label?
Well, basically, we have our own record label. As you might know, the music industry is not in a very good position at the moment, and they're very selective about who they sign, and they only like to sign bands that are a sure thing.
Yeah.
And whereas because we're an indie rock band, we're not a sure thing. It's hard to break a rock band in the UK.
Is it because of the genre?
Yeah. So you've got, I mean, that's where you get things like One Direction and stuff, because they're a sure thing. So they'll sign acts like that because they know they're going to make their money. Yeah. So we decided that we'd do it DIY, and we started our own record label called Artisan Records, and release our stuff through that and do it ourselves. So, which is not easy.
Thank you. How did you find the process of actually getting signed by a record label? I mean, how did you approach them, or what difficulties did you find?
Well, it's just, like I said, it's tough. So, I mean, we've had several showcases. We've had labels come to see us, yeah. And they all really like what we do. We just haven't had any offers yet. But, you know, we're still in talks with loads of different labels, so yeah. We'll see what happens.
Thank you. How's your current experience as a music artist, like your working hours, your communicating with another artist you fan, or even publicity?
Right, okay. It's funny because when you're either really busy or you're not. So I'll go on tour and I'll spend 24 hours a day being in the band. We'll be driving to the next show, you know, around Europe, doing the show, driving on, or we'll be recording, or we'll be writing. So we do like 3 weeks solid of writing, and then we'll have downtime where we can go off, and we need to earn money because obviously we're a DIY band, so we have to earn our own money to afford to do the band. So that kind of how it works for us. So we, you know, and things like press and stuff. The only time you do press really is for the build up towards a release. So we have a PR for that. You know, we employ them and they go out and they do the job for us, and then they hook us up with interviews. And normally you do like a full day of kind of interviews like this. Someone will film it or record it, and you'll just sit there and answer questions for about 2-3 hours, and then you're done. Kind of that set of press. So yeah, it's kind of that's how it kind of moves forward. Really.
Is there any artists that you worked with that we know, like any?
Yeah, we've been on tour with several big bands. We've been on tour with this band called Incubus. They're an American band. Yeah. We've worked with them for a while. We also did the Brits with Rihanna, which you know, which is a lot of fun. But it was kind of like we were her backing band for that. We weren't doing our own track or anything. It was her song, and we just got that opportunity, and we just thought it'd be a good laugh. So that was cool.
That's good.
So yeah, it's good fun, and it's good because you get to meet people that you always wanted to kind of meet, you know.
Your kind of idols.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. What are the advantages and disadvantages of being signed by a record label? Like, why are they advantages?
The advantages of being signed by a record label, especially a major label, is they've got loads of money, and they can open any door, and they can get you easily on the radio, and they can pay people to get things done for you that people who wouldn't necessarily do it for you because they help being given money, if you know what I mean.
Is that what you're lacking right now, kind of thing?
Sorry?
Is that what you're lacking right now, that kind of...
Slightly. I mean, the thing about being on a major label is you lose a lot of the control, and you don't necessarily benefit from everything, all the money that comes in and stuff like that. When you own your own label, You have your own. You have complete control.
Yeah.
All the money that comes in is yours, or the label, your own label, and you get a clear view of how it's all working. Whereas if you're on a major label, they're kind of
restricted.
Yeah, and it's not a great business to be in. Let's be honest. Music industry is not a great industry.
A lot of steps to work.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people. There's a lot of fake people and a lot of backstabbing and bands, especially the artists. The artists get screwed over a lot. So I think that's why a lot of acts have kind of gone DIY, because they're kind of sick of that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the advantages and disadvantages, I guess.
Thank you. How do you advertise your record label? Like
the label?
Yeah, your kind of identity.
Well, the band, to advertise the band, we have press and PR and stuff, and
Yeah.
we try and get, played on radio. We do tours, so that kind of gets us out there. With the record label, we don't really advertise it as such. I mean, it's on our record sleeves and stuff like that. We kind of keep it, the record label's just there as a kind of business, like an employer in a respect. But we don't treat the label like it's its own big, advertise. We don't advertise about it or anything like that.
Like how Sony does their kind of.
Yeah, Sony. The thing about Sony is there's so many branches to it. It's kind of all these different record labels that you hear of. A lot of them are owned by the major labels anyway. So. Yeah, I think it's just because we're a small label, we don't have any money, so plugging the label wouldn't necessarily be very beneficial to the band. So.
Yeah. But do you do viral marketing like Facebook, Twitter?
Yeah, all the band do our own marketing. We use Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. We do our own music videos.
Yeah.
We do, as I say, Facebook. We got and Twitter. We contact our fans a lot and talk to people a lot. So and promote shows, promote releases, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, thank you. What is your opinion on some of the restrictions that you have as an artist, or are there any restrictions? Because if it's a famous, One Direction, like you said, they can't give interviews like you're giving right now, but are there any restrictions like that?
I think it depends what you want to achieve as an artist. One Direction, for example, personally, I think they're the worst thing on the planet, but having said that, there's a lot of people that think that they're the best thing on the planet.
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't think they give a, they don't care, because they've, made millions as a band, and they will see a lot of that money, But they do not write their songs. They are told what to do, So it's kind of, do you want to be an artist that does what you're told, or do you want to be an artist that writes your own music? And is your own boss and says, look, I don't feel happy with my music and what I'm trying to do here. So I think it all depends on what your goal is at the end of the day. And personally, I know the fact that us as a band, we wouldn't sign to a major label and be in that situation. We would, if we signed to a major label, there'd be the stipulation that we would have control over our music and what we do, and have a big say in where it goes. I mean, obviously, record labels have put money in, so they do have a say. But it's got to be an even field there, I think.
Okay, thank you. Is having a record label helped you progress in your career? For instance, how has it helped you, and how is it going to help you in the future?
Since we launched our record label, it has helped us. It's let us release our records. We're now a registered company. I own 2 companies, which is the weirdest thing ever. But yeah, so it's kind of it's been good for the band, because it gives us a home and somewhere to kind of release our stuff from. But it is tough. I mean, it's not easy to get out there if you've got no money. It really is all about money. And as a small label like ours, we have none, so it's kind of tough. So.
Thank you. And so the last thing is, please feel free to add any information regarding your record label, your experience, like the tours with Rihanna, or anything else that you want to say to budding artists that are out there?
Oh, okay. I would say figure out what you really want, and nowadays don't think there's any such thing as a rock star or making millions of pounds out of being in a band, because the chances are like 1 in a billion that you're even make it that kind of level. It's something ridiculous, like 1 in a million bands get a record deal, and then 1% of them make it to the kind of Muse, Coldplay level. So be realistic with yourself and do music because you love it, and don't do it because, you know, for any other reason, because you might as well get a real job if that's what you want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and just work hard at it. I guess that's the best advice I can give anyone.
Thank you very much for
No
joining
worries.
us today.
No problem.